Hey everyone, welcome back to Open, and we welcome our last guest, a triple threat as a singer, songwriter, actor, and dancer, who for over 15 years she's enchanted audiences through her dynamic talents, sharing the stage with music legends such as Romeo Santos, Don Omar, illuminating iconic venues from like Lincoln Center to Madison Square Garden, and her latest album, La Chachi Side A debuted at #1 on the Latin charts in the USA on iTunes. And drawing deep inspiration from her Puerto Rican heritage, her sound ranges from rhythms of salsa to reggaeton to soul-stirring power ballads. And well, now she's going to share more. Everyone, please welcome singer, songwriter, actor, and dancer, Grizel del Valle, La Chachi.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo, yay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. I am so excited to have you on. I cannot believe that we have not had you on.
Well, I'm on now, baby.
Yes,
I'm on.
you are on in many ways, I might add, right? Not just on here, you are on fire is
Thank
what
you.
you are.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Debuting at #1 on top of it all.
Yeah, that was God. God's the plug.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that because I got to tell you, right? So the song that we're going to be hearing, which I'm so excited about, we're getting the unplugged version.
You sure are.
Of Masoquista. That's the one
It's my
that's
baby.
that's the one that's really hitting it hard, right?
Yeah.
However, that's only one of many
Yes.
on side one. Side A.
Side A.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I wanted to say that based on having followed your career and you releasing this album now, I'm from what I understand, it's taking you 5 years,
5.5.
5.5 years to
Yeah,
get to.
yeah.
Recently becoming a mom, right?
Yes.
You have a 3-year-old son.
3 years.
Also being part of the I Like It Like That cast, the original version and the upcoming version.
Yes.
I'm just wondering what you're feeling right now, because what you have in your possession is like, it's gold.
Oh,
It is.
I'm honestly, I feel like I'm basking in complete gratitude. Gratitude with God, with the universe, with trusting my instinct and my gift. It's like what's happening now is just divine timing, you know, and not settling and not being impatient, even when I want it to, you know. So at this moment, I'm like, everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen, and it feels surreal. It really does.
And the beauty of it is that there's more to come.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so much more to come.
Yes, a lot,
Like,
a lot.
It's just like,
It's just getting started. And I'm like, but I've been doing this for so long that it's like, we're not just getting started, you know? It's just another layer to me.
right, exactly, right? But the reason I mentioned everything is because in this business, it could get very challenging, right? Especially if you're not signed with a record label, if you're not able to produce, like, you know, because you have to tend to your mommy duties. Like, as an artist, that can play with your mind, right? And so here's this album that has been so many years in the making, and the minute you released it, it already went to #1.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what that journey has been. Even though it's been 5 years in the making, you shared with me prior to getting on air that one of the tracks, or one of the records, right?
The first one, Una Noche.
Una Noche was written when you were what, 21 years old or something?
17.
17. Oh my gosh.
So 20 years ago.
Right. Wow.
Years ago.
I know. I wasn't gonna.
Listen, and that's another thing that before I would be like, oh my God, I'm not gonna share my age. And now I'm like, listen, the wisdom that comes with these 39 years, it's a beautiful gift.
It is a beautiful gift.
Right? So,
Yeah.
but it has been something that has taken me a little longer. I've taken the harder road, right? As an independent artist, if you don't come with a financial backing or a big endorsement or, you know, some type of management or representation, like my whole life, I've never had representation. I've always managed my own career. So even like attaching myself with who now became one of my very good friends, but is also one, like, my manager. We manage my career together right now. She came into my life 5.5 years ago, and it was right after Hurricane Maria, and she's like, where can I find your music? And I was like, I don't have any. But I worked with this one and this one and this one. I did this for that person and I did this on this person and this and she's like, yeah, but your stuff. And so she was the one that basically helped me focus on, you know, Chachi, what's your sound? What do you want to do?
Who's she?
Meli Andrea, who I love very much, and she's been so selfless in this whole project, and she's poured so much of herself and so many of her resources, and she's never asked me for nothing.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
it is beautiful
That's a
because
beautiful
it
gift.
doesn't give you pressure. It makes you, it allows you to really bring the muse in and do what you have to do when you're doing it. She puts a lot of pressure on me for the TikToks and all that stuff.
Right, right.
But I understand where she's going with, and there is a power in
Right,
that.
but you also need that level of accountability anyway.
Absolutely.
And that's what she's
And
there for.
She's pushed me throughout, like, Hurricane Maria gave me PTSD, right? So through my PTSD, she's encouraged me to start my own stuff. When I was working with Don Omar and Romeo, she encouraged me to create music. That's why my earlier sound from 2018, 2019, you could hear the Don Omar influence. You could hear the commercial bubblegum kind of vibe. It wasn't really like heartfelt music. During the pandemic, one of my followers said, you know, I've seen you live, Chachi, and who you are live is like the music that you've put out doesn't represent who you are live. Like you got to show them who you are. And I was like, wait, so is there a disconnect? And that made me like, you know, reflect on everything. And I was like, no, if I need to be true to anybody, it has to be to myself. If I'm going to build and make this body of work and invest thousands of dollars of my hard-earned money into this project, I have to make sure that it represents me in rooms that I haven't walked into yet and that it carries my essence everywhere it goes. So the biggest fear that Meli and I had with this project was that, you know, I don't have a PR person to get me interviews and put me in the limelight and put me here and put me there. I don't have a big record label that's, you know, knocking the door at Apple, Spotify for all these DSPs to sit down with me and know who I am and you know, like experience it. So that's why I say God is the plug, because how these doors are opening, Rena, I don't know.
Well, because you put in the work.
Well, yeah.
And right, but you even put in the work in developing as a performer, because
Absolutely.
you're definitely a showstopper. That you're a showstopper. You really are. I mean, you're one of the cleanest performers, and I don't mean that in the sense of like hygiene. I mean in the sense of like it's very clear that you are trained in everything you do, so that when you execute, it's precise, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, stepping away from precision, you have chosen to fuse in the music, right? I understand this particular side A has ballads, trap, which you got to tell me a little bit more about that, reggae mixed with bachata, R&B, Latin soul. Like, talk to me about the different, I guess, how you were able to fuse it, and then the different stories that come within each song.
I guess fusing it is simple for me because I grew up with such an eclectic sound of music around me, from like the Latin world to the disco, Motown, hip hop. I'm from Newark, New Jersey, Brick City. So it's you have a lot of Latinaje, but you also have the African American influence. And so I remember in high school I was in love with India Ari. Ready for Love was a song that when I heard a girl sing it, I was like, oh my God. My Ready for Love by India Ari would be my apology. And people have already told me and have made the relation. And I'm like, wow, I would have never thought that they would get it the way they get it, right? So Una Noche, which is una balada song, I pay homage to, you know, the music I grew up to with my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather, listening to like old school Los Trios, and like the guitar is so like important in my family. I have musician family members, parrandas and all that good stuff, right? So having that Mark Anthony influence, because real talk, you know, Mark Anthony and Jennifer Lopez, when I was up and coming, it was a big deal. They were really representing us, not only in the Latin market, but he was crossing over and making English albums now.
Right, which is what you've done too.
Right.
You're
so
fusing that
I'm
too.
like,
We forgot the language as well.
Right, and so it's who I am. There's times where I can't think in Spanish, but then there's times that the words don't come out in English. And I felt like there's artists like Caliuchis who made bilingual music from like one sentence to another. Like, she opened the door for that. So even having the Drakes singing bachata and the Bad Bunnies tapping into every, like, so I am a fusion, you know? I'm a fusion of all that. And I think my music represents it. When you see me dancing, you know, people don't know that I started off as a professional salsa dancer, but I also trained in like bomba, plena, rumba, the folkloric stuff. So it's already deep rooted in me, you know? And I just, like I said, I wanted to listen to my album and not judge it, but listen to it with my eyes closed, like if I was not the artist. And how would I guide her? How can I make her better? And that's my producer hat. So there's songs that did not make the cut. There's people that are like, why only 7 songs? The only thing bad about this album is that it's so short. There's 100,000 songs that get uploaded into all these streaming platforms daily. And I just learned that at the Latin Billboard Week conferences last week. So it's oversaturated with music.
Right.
So it becomes about quality,
right,
not quantity.
Right.
So I don't need an album with 14 songs on it. I need an album with 7 records.
Got it.
See?
Yeah.
There's a specificity there. And sometimes people are like, hey, but you're not being strategic and you're not being, well, according to you and your compass, I'm not being strategic. But according to what's happening here, I'm following the plan. And I think it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Oh, it's working. It's working. It's working because when you produce a song that rents space in somebody's head, it's done.
And that song, Reno, when I tell you, you have to gotta want it. Like, this is something that my elementary school teacher used to tell me. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. That song we created December 2018. My co-writer, Johnny the Voice, who is incredible, I'm so happy for his existence. He wrote Masoquista with me. He wrote Judas and A Tu Merced. So we actually have 3 songs on my album. The other producer or the other person that rented the space deleted half of his hard drive. So I lost all the stem files,
oh my
everything.
gosh, you just made my heart drop. Like,
No.
I don't know how I was
This is
able to deal with that.
2018.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so we do it in 2018. 2019, they delete everything by mistake. So 2019, my musical director, Adam Perez, goes into the studio and tries to recreate with his ears all the instruments and all the sounds and the feeling. It still doesn't sound the way I want it because now it's too ballady and less trap. So then 2020 comes into play. Now it's middle of the pandemic. And I'm like, it doesn't sound the way I need it to. I bring in a whole orchestra from tubas to violins, percussion, drums, pianos. And this comes from working with all these other people and knowing what's inspired me or what I felt I gravitated more to. We put it in and I was like, oh, it's too pretty. I don't want it to be a ballad. It has to be a ballad trap. Like if when it goes, no sé si debo escuchar la voz en mi cabeza, you have to give it the you can't be like zee, zee, zee.
Oh
you
my
have to
gosh.
match my energy. So it's a lot.
No, you know, I gotta tell you, thank you for the little sound bite over there because they gotta wait. They gotta hang on till we get to the other side to experience it.
Okay.
I know we didn't even have time to talk about I Like It Like That, but we're sending everybody.
It's tomorrow. It's literally sold out. I'm ecstatic to be on stage with the powerhouse that is this cast. It's a privilege and an honor for me to come back and do my 3 roles as a part of the original cast. That show showed me my potential in acting, my versatility, and it challenged me to grow. So I'm just back. I'm happy that 7 years later we're back and I'm really having a full circle moment. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's like the icing, ding, the cherry on top.
It is.
Bravo.
I love
Everybody,
you.
Grizel del Valle. I wish we had more time, I really
It's
do.
okay.
Pero you guys, you can't go anywhere because when we return, La Chachi, Grizel del Valle, is going to perform for us Masoquista.
There you go.
And you don't want to miss it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Open, here now to perform Masoquista. Let's give it up for Grizel del Valle, La Chachi.
No sé qué pasó, cómo lo perdí, de mí se burló. Con todo el daño que me hacías, todo el mundo lo sabía menos yo, con la tuya te salías. Tú no crees en amor, no. Un relajo para ti fui. Ignorante y maduro, egoísta, porque solo piensas en ti. Le faltaste respeto a todo lo que contigo construí, sí. Pero yo sigo aquí, demasiado tiempo invertí. Fue un teatro, una pura fantasía, un castillo hecho de pura mentira. Y aún así, por ti daría la vida. Oh, masoquista, soy por ti. Tú me sigues haciendo daño y como quiera sigo aquí de masoquista. Y yo por ti me lanzaría de lo más alto, sin paracaídas. De nuevo en el piso, ¿qué hago aquí? Esta casa no tiene salida. Nunca imaginé mi vida así. Mi adicción por ti es peor que la morfina. No sé si debo escuchar las voces en mi cabeza. Me dicen que de nada sirve la vida si tú no regresas. Una me dice que te hable con el corazón en la mesa. La otra me dice levántate mami, ya no seas pendeja. Fue un teatro, una pura fantasía, un castillo hecho de pura mentira. Y aún así por ti daría la vida. Ay, wow, masoquista, soy por ti. Tú me sigues haciendo daño y como quiera sigo aquí de masoquista. Yo por ti me lanzaría de lo más alto, sin paracaídas.
I'm all emotional because that's right, Grizel de Valle, la Chachi just blessed our open artist set. Yeah. Oh my gosh, everyone. Once again, Masoquista remains at #1 on iTunes and is out now on all streaming platforms. For more on Grizel de Valle, la Chachi, check her out on Instagram at Chachi Nation. Once again, I like it like that. It's set to take place Saturday, November 2nd at 8 p.m. at Lehman Center for the Performing Arts located at 250 Bedford Park Boulevard in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit lehmancenter.org. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through. And to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check us out on this episode throughout the weekend at 24 hours a day on BronxNet.tv. I'm Rita Valentin, and obviously we are filled with love from all of us here at Open. May the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor.